Mula military at defense partnership, economic front at maging issue ng immigration, anong direksyon kaya ang tatahakin ng Philippine-US relations sa ilalim ng panibagong Donald Trump presidency? At makakausap natin ngayon sa NewsWatch Plus si Philippine Ambassador to the United States, Jose Manuel Romualdez. First po, your reaction on the victory of former President Trump sa katatapos lang na US presidential elections.
As I've said on many occasions during the past interviews, we're looking forward to working with the administration of President Trump. As you know, I've been here since 2017, so I've met quite a number of those that worked with President Trump in the past, and they are expected to again join the administration of President Trump. So I'm looking forward to actually working with them, and I think our continuing relationship with the United States, an important one, I might add, is going to be strengthened during the administration of President Trump.
Both Trump and Biden administration, siguro po ang tanong is, what contrast do you see in their approach pagdating po sa Pilipinas?
I think I wouldn't say there's really any major contrast, except that during the time of President Trump, they were very clear that our defense alliance was very important to them, and that's why, if you remember, there were several occasions when former President Duterte, or President Duterte then, was threatening to abrogate the visiting forces agreement, and so we had to try to work it out so that the president will give it enough time. And unfortunately, I guess things changed, and President Duterte allowed the visiting forces agreement to continue, especially during the pandemic. And he probably saw the wisdom of continuing with the visiting forces agreement, because it was in our interest, just the same as the interest of the United States, that we continue with that. With that, of course, now we see with President Marcos, who obviously has even strengthened the relationship with the United States, because he knows that this is the right way to go as far as our relationship with other countries as well, in pushing back the aggressive behavior that's coming from our neighbor to the north.
Ambassador Carson told us yesterday na there's enough support daw po, or bipartisan support, meaning whether Republican or Democrats ay suportado yung Manila and Washington alliance. Do you also agree?
Definitely. I know that for a fact, because I interact quite a bit with the U.S. Congress, and many Republicans in the U.S. Congress that are still going to be there in the Senate and in the House, from both Republicans and Democrats, are very supportive of what we're doing right now as far as the relationship with the United States is concerned. As a matter of fact, Senator Haggerty of Tennessee is one of those that has supported the modernization program of the armed forces of the Philippines, and he was the author, one of the authors of the resolution, or the bill that would allow the FMF of about the 500 million to be used for the armed forces of the Philippines modernization program.
Ambassador, how do you foresee the return of Trump influencing yung defense agreements, such as the Enhanced Defense Cooperation Agreement, or EDCA, or any ongoing military partnership?
I think, as I said, it started during the time of President Trump, because I was here. And in fact, it was former Secretary of State Mike Pompeo who said that our commitment to the MDT, or the Mutual Defense Treaty, was ironclad. And we pushed through with that. That agreement was made, which was even made stronger, and President Marcos just simply implemented what we had agreed upon in the past, which is the Visiting Forces Agreement since 1993, and the EDCA, which was also signed in 2016. Mm-hmm. So I think that this will continue as far as I can see. And in fact, I've talked to several of those whom I dealt with in the administration of President Trump, and they told me that definitely the policies will probably remain the same, and it might even be better this time.
Concern din po kasi na baka tulad ng kanyang mga ginawa sa Japan at South Korea na magbabayad para sa presensya ng US troops, ay gawin din ito sa Pilipinas. So handa po ba tayo sa ganitong senaryo?
payment is not the right word. The defense establishment here knows very well that our role in the Asian Pacific region is very important and very crucial because we are right in the center of the South China Sea area, and that's very important for the United States because the trillions of dollars pass through there, and I know that President Trump is well aware of that. So it is in their interest that this relationship continues. And as I said, hindi naman tayo humihingi hindi tayo nagpapalimos. What we are doing is actually telling them that we would want to modernize our armed forces so that we can be a real partner.
About immigration policies, will this be a concern for Filipino Americans?
These are very important issues that Filipino Americans are very concerned about, and that is from all states. I've spoken to most of them, and they really were very, very strong about President Trump planned policy towards illegal immigration. Kasi apektado sila. Like in New York, for instance, parang dumami talaga yung mga tao, illegal immigration at the city of New York. Some hotels are being occupied by them, and they see that as not fair that all of these things are being thrown to cities like New York that's already burdened with so much of social services that they have to pay.
May mga nagsasabi po kasi, lalo na sa online, na baka masama na sa mass deportation yung mga Filipino-American na nasa US, lalo na yung mga illegal immigrants. How do you respond to that?
Yung mga Filipinos that may be deported is not a very large number. The figure that we have, at least this is the figures that we've been able to gather, is approximately about 200,000. We have 4.3 million Filipino Americans living in the United States. Filipinos who are Americans, or some of them are Filipinos that will probably become Americans. There will be films. So 200,000 is not a very big number. We also advise many of them, and they're here. Some of them have pending applications for their visas, for their permanent status because of their relatives and so forth and so on. So they have some form of legality. Kaya lagi kong ina-advise sa kanila, just follow what the rules and the laws are para hindi kayo mahirapan. And at the same time, do not let it come to a point where they will deport you, because the minute you are deported from the United States, you cannot come back here.
And you, Ambassador, how do you prepare yourself dito po sa pagpapalit ng leadership?
As I said, because of my experience in the first Trump administration in 2017, I can see that there is a lot of opportunities that we can work with the new administration, not only in the defense side, but also in the economic sphere. I've met many of them, those who have worked with President Trump and who are also supporters. Many businessmen who are now very close to President Trump that I've met. And many of them are very much aware of what's happening in the Philippines, and they're very sympathetic because we have a very good Filipino-American community here. Kaya I'm very proud of them kasi yan ang ating the people that actually, this people-to-people relationship is what really drives this relationship. Even President Trump himself has said so, that Filipinos working in his hotels or in his golf clubs, nakikita niya that they're really hardworking at saka mababait, yung mga ganyan. So that relationship is there, and we build around that. That's why we have a lot of friends in the U.S. Congress, because they too, even if we have issues with them, even during the past, about human rights in the past, lagi we end up talking about the Filipino-American community in their area. So that is what that's important, that this people-to-people ties remains the basis or the foundation of our relationship with this country.
Maraming salamat, Ambassador Babe Romualdez. Manatiling nakasubscribe at nakatutok sa NewsWatch Plus para sa mga impormasyong napapanahon at balitang on demand. Ako si Tristan Nodalo.